Hi everybody, this is Heather from Flavorful Tea and Fruit Company. I want to welcome you to another one of my videos, and I hope you're excited to learn more about some of our flavors of tea. This today is actually going to be what is called an herbal tea, or if you wanted to be specific and actually correct in your terminology, this is what we would call a tisane, as it does not have any actual tea in it or the Camellia sinensis plant. And always remember, if your supposed tea does not have caffeine in it, then it is not a tea. Actually known as a tisane, Tisane. But I will try to keep this simple. If you hear me start saying herbal tea or tea, just know that I am still talking about a tisane that is caffeine free, but this is something that you can call a tea. I will not yell at you, but when I'm being trained, I will always try to clarify in the beginning of these videos so that you better understand what it is that you are actually drinking. Now, this is one of our newer flavors. It is coming from Germany. So we work with a German company where we tell them what to blend. They blend these different ingredients that they grow in Germany. So you will notice that in the label for this one, it is going to say product of Germany. This is one of our newer ones. We came out with these in, oh my goodness, was it right before the new year? So probably in October, November of last year. I do have each and every one of these ingredients out there for you, but this one is going to be more or less a spiced tea. So if you've ever had things like chai or any other kind of spiced tea before, this is going to be very similar, but it's not going to be as strong, but there is also fruit in it. So it is going to be a little bit more sweet, which is probably what most people, or at least what most of my customers really want. So let's get into what exactly is in this tea to see if it is the best match for you. And at the end of this video, I will tell you in the description where you can figure out where you could purchase some of this, or if you would like to be able to try it, I'll even tell you when we will have this as a sample for the Appleton Farm Market in the 2024 season. Now, when it comes to this, the packages that we currently have them in are instead of these clear packages. And yes, I know it's going to have every single word is going to actually be backwards. It's just because of the way the camera is. But just know it says fire and spice. These are basically the labels that you will see. And here's what some of those ingredients look like. It's a colorful mishmash of a whole bunch of different things. But let's go through each and every one of the ingredients, starting with the ingredient we have the most of, all the way down to the least amount of an ingredient we have. Meaning if you are somebody who may not like one of these ingredients, always remember, figure out where in the ingredient list it is, because if it's near the back of the ingredient list, it's a very small amount. And when I got this, I get 2.2 pounds of it at a time. So always remember, if it says 3%, it's a very tiny amount that it actually goes into this blend. But let's get into the one that has the most of it. So I actually love these, and when I found out that they could do this with with ginger, I could not help it but get a bunch of these. So these are actually what we call ginger cubes. Now, they're going to be a little bit of a lighter color like this. They're not candied or anything. This is actual ginger, and it is just dehydrated and then freeze dried and put with it to make that ginger flavor really, really elevated in this tea. You're going to find out that there's going to be a lot of ginger elements in this. So if you're somebody who used to purchase our ginger root tea, this might be the tea for you, as there's a lot of different parts of the ginger plant in it. Now, there's about 33% of these in our blend for this one. And yeah, if you really like ginger, this is basically like candied ginger. It's so yummy. Then we go to the ginger pieces. So now, again, you're on to the second ingredient already, and it's still ginger. It's from the same plant, but it is actually the outside of the ginger. Now you're going to see it has little bumps right there. It's also going to be a little bit of a different color. It's not going to be clear or cloudy like that last piece. There is about 24% of this in our tea blend, so there is a ton of those little ginger pieces. Then we go to the first, what I would call the fruit element of this tea. And since we specifically grow these types of dragon fruit on our farm in our greenhouse, this is something that is very special to us. Now, we specifically grow what is similar, or what they are going to call lilac dragon fruit cubes. So they're going to look similar to this. You are going to be able to see a little bit of the seeds in there. I'll see if I can get this other one over here. They're going to be a little bit more on the squishy side. But these are the lilac dragon fruit cubes that you will find in your tea. And if you want to, after you're done infusing it, this will rehydrate and you can eat it. It's still going to have that sweetness of a dragon fruit. And if you've never tried it before, that is a great option for you. Now it's going to be looking at what our hibiscus looks like. Now the hibiscus that's in here, since it's not being grown on our farm, it's actually being grown in Germany, they are a little bit bigger. The hibiscus leaves are obviously also going to be a little bit of a different color. They are just as sweet and tangy as the ones here that we grow in Wisconsin, but you're going to find out that there are many variations of hibiscus in here. Some of them are going to be really, really dark. Some of them are going to be really, really light, like this one. And then you're going to find out that some of them almost look like they're black, like this one, but it's actually just a deep, deep, deep crimson red color. Now, if you've never had hibiscus before, this is going to give you a natural sweet and tangy taste to this blend. Now, this is the one ingredient that I think most people are going to be kind of surprised about, and maybe you can guess already by looking at this. But believe it or not, I put carrot flakes in this tea. This tea blend has carrot flakes in it, not necessarily for the flavor, but actually for what the color it gives us. Because your cup for this blend is going to be sort of like a deep orangish brown color. It's very typical of a spiced tea, but I wanted to have a little bit more of an orange tinge. So by putting these little carrot flakes in there, and I'll see if I can find another one here for you, like that, we not only get color, but carrots are naturally a sweet vegetable. So we do get a little bit more of a sweetness because of the carrots alongside the hibiscus and even the dragon fruit cubes. Now the next one is lemon peel. Now it's very easy to determine if it's lemon peel. You can kind of see like one side looks like that, like the actual peel. And then the inside, you can see that it's a little bit lighter. That is just the orange peel. We also have one that's a little bit of a bigger one, a little bit harder to tell because there is no like actual like orangish peel that you might see. But these are what the orange peels look like in this tea blend. And then we have lemongrass. Now you're going to find out that lemongrass a lot of times looks like this greenish kind of straw-like texture, but sometimes you'll find out that some lemongrass, and this is quite normal, will actually be more of this brownish, yellowish red color. It is quite common that lemongrass comes in various colors, so don't think that the lemongrass is bad if there's not always like that deepish green. And then we have ginger slices. Now this is the one that we don't have as much of because if you have too many ginger slices in tea blends that I've found, you will actually overpower the tea. But if you do really like our ginger root tea that we used to offer, you will definitely like this one. It's a ginger rich tea blend. Now the ginger slices are bigger. They're also going to have a little bit more of a texture to them, but you can always tell what is what. These ginger slices, you can tell the difference between. Like this is a ginger slice. This is a ginger cube. And then this is the ginger pieces. So they are all very, very different from each other. Now, when it comes to the least ingredient, this is less than 1% of it. We actually have, let's see if I can get this on my little spoon here. Maybe you can kind of tell what these are. This is coriander. Coriander is a great option if you want something a little bit sweet, but coriander, believe it or not, you can make it into a tea. I actually use plain old coriander, throw it into some hot water, and I drink it because coriander has a natural sort of peppery citrus flavor, which works really, really well if you're having a cold, but it works really well with the spiced tea. Okay guys, this is what is all the ingredients inside of here. You will infuse this for 3 to 5 minutes, though I suggest actually letting it go a little bit longer, but always test it. So let it go for 3 minutes, taste it, see if it's strong enough, then go each minute afterwards. So like go to the 4-minute, taste it, see if it's strong enough. If it's still not strong enough, go to 5. You can keep this specific tea blend going for up to 10 minutes if you would like, but if you let it sit for any longer than that, there is a risk that the ginger can become a little bit more more cloudy, and it can kind of mess up that flavor profile that I want you guys to be able to enjoy. Also, you are going to be boiling this one. I know I always say don't boil your tea, but really 212 degrees is really what you want it to be at, or at least over 200 degrees. So if you don't want to boil it and you just still want to get really close, that is your option. The only reason why you need to do that is because the teas that we have, especially when they're fruit-based teas, and even though I know ginger is not technically a fruit, it is something that because we are candying it and we're slicing it into these things, you do need to have a higher temperature to be able to force all those flavors inside of them to kind of come out, especially with that dragon fruit because it's processed a certain way, and even with the hibiscus. You can try it at a lower one, but I've noticed that it doesn't have as strong of a flavor. But if you're somebody who doesn't want to have as strong or as elevated of a flavor profile with your tea, you can use that. Now, I will have in the description for you guys where you can purchase this. I'll even have in the description what week we will have it as a sample for the Appleton Farm Market for the 2024 season. If you are in Northeast Wisconsin, that might be a little bit of a treat for you, as we have 3 tea samples based off of a theme every single week. And I do know that it is going to be in our spiced and chai week, so that is probably going to be coming up at the end of August or sometime in September. Otherwise, guys, I hope you learned something, and feel free to message me if you have any questions. Bye!